Hello everybody, this is your main man Keith here from Keith Plays PS4 927. Happy Saturday morning to all my awesome viewers on this awesome channel. We are in Game 3 of the Western Conference first round for our 2000-2001 Los Angeles Lakers Road to the NBA Finals Series. And we are currently leading over the Utah Jazz 2-0, evidently. So if we win this episode and the next episode, we will sweep the 97-98 Utah Jazz, and we will advance on to the NBA Western Conference semifinals. So our opponent, if we make the NBA Finals, will probably be the 2000-2001 Philadelphia 76ers. And I'd like to see that to be a 7-game series. So without a further ado, we'll see you at tip-off. Forgot to show you guys one more thing. The uniforms. So for the uniforms, the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be wearing their classic 1999 through 2017 purple uniforms on the road in Utah. Meanwhile, for the Jazz, they're going to be wearing their classic home 1996 through 2004 white uniforms at home. So without a further ado, we'll see you into tip-off. Alright, it is tip-off time here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So now John Stockton, the Gonzaga product, has possession of the basketball. I don't know where he's going to take it to, but he ends up losing it. Derek Fisher picks it up. We're going to pass it over to Kobe Bryant. So he makes a slam dunk. So Derek Fisher is going to pick up an assist. So now John Stockton, number 12, going to pass it over to Jeff Hornacek. So Stockton picks up his first assist of the game. So now Kobe Bryant, he is going to the paint for another dunk. A nice crossover there. So this is game 3 of the Western Conference quarterfinals, or round 1 as I call it. But for playoffs, I'm going to call the final 4 teams, I'm going to call them the Elite Four. So now we're going to pass it over to Kobe Bryant. He knocks down a 3 from behind the arc. Actually 2 points, which isn't bad, but at least we're gaining points along the lines. John Stockton passing it over to Jeff Hornacek. Stockton with the assist. And it is now 6-6. Kobe Bryant, number 8, with the possession of the basketball. We're going to knock this 3 from behind the arc. So it's now going to be 9-6. And now John Stockton going to pass it over to Greg Ostertag. And then now Stockton has possession. Stockton's going to pass it over to Greg Ostertag. Greg Ostertag misses that. Rick Fox going to pass it over to Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaq O'Neal gets that in, so it's now 11-6. And now John Stockton has possession of the basketball. So evidently Stockton loses the basketball, but then Byron Russell picks it up. So Russell gets that layup there. So it's now a 11-8 lead. So we're going to make it 14-8 with Kobe making a 3. And it's now 14-8. So John Stockton has possession of the basketball. And it goes out of bounds. The 97-98 Utah Jazz have possession of it, though, still. So now they're going to pass it over to Karl Malone. And then it looks like John Stockton, he's going to get that in there for 2. So it's now 14-10. Brian Shaw going to pass it over to Rick Fox. He is going to make a dunk there. And this is the first 2 points of Rick Fox for the series. So I like to go mainly for Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, somewhat of Derek Fisher. So they're going to pass it over to Jeff Hornacek, and then Malone. There is a foul on Derek Fisher. It's a shooting foul. So Karl Malone goes to the free-throw line. He makes that one in. And will he make it in for the second free-throw attempt of the game? Yes, he will. Passing it all around. And then use some Mark Madsen, and then Tyronn Lue, who is now the head coach for the Los Angeles Clippers, gets it in there, so it's not 18-12, and they're going to pass it over to Izzy, and then picks it back up again. Luckily, they didn't get it in the backcourt violation, because that could have costed them big time. And now it is Karl Malone, the LSU product. What is Karl Malone going to do? He's going to actually get that in. So luckily he got it in before that buzzer beater even hit 0. And we're going to use some Robert Horry and then some Devian George. So we're going to use Devian George to go in the mid-range area. Well, not far from the paint, but Jazz have possession of the basketball. They're going to pass it over to Morris. And now Morris, what is he going to do? Going to make that layup in. So it's now 20-16. Robert Horry with the possession of the basketball is going to make a 3 fly. And we will see you guys in the second quarter. All right, the score right now is 23-18. Karl Malone made some final second two-pointer to end the first quarter. All right, so it's now 23-18. Kobe Bryant with the basketball. He's going to go in the paint there. 3 pointers made. There are 3 3-pointers from behind the arc. So now they're going to pass it over, and he gets that layup in there. So it's now 25-20. Now it is Kobe Bryant with possession of the basketball. And Kobe's going to get this one in for 2. So it's now 27-20. And they have possession of the basketball. Looks like they're going to pass it over. And they missed that. So Kobe picks up a rebound for the Lakers. And Kobe Bryant, what is he going to do? He's going to knock a 3 from behind the arc. And it's now going to be 30-20. So the 2000-2001 Lakers are on top of the road right now. They're on top of Utah by 12 points. So the Jazz are taking a timeout. Okay, during the break, Shaquille O'Neal evidently made a dunk. So it's now 39-23. So the Jazz are down by 16 points. John Stockton hit a 3 during the break. So now, speaking of John Stockton, he has possession of the basketball. He's going to go make it in from mid-range. So it's now 39-25. Utah, they're 11 for 14 in field goals. So now Kobe is going to make that dunk happen. So it's now 41-25. So Kobe has been dominating in the court of Utah. And now Kobe's going to make another steal. He might end up having 10, 11, maybe 12 dunks by the time this game is over. He has 28 points today, 12 of which are in the paint. He has made a steal. He's going to pass it over to Ron Harper, and then Shaquille O'Neal. We're going to pass it over to Kobe Bryant. Bryant making that from 3, and it's now 46-25. So Byron Russell is going to pass it over to Jeff Hornacek, and now Hornacek's going to pass it over to Russell, and it is missed. So now Derek Fisher going to pass over Horace Grant, and then Shaquille O'Neal makes a dunk. So it's now 48-25. This is his second dunk of the game. Lakers right now, they're the really red-hot team of this road to the NBA Finals bracket. So John Stockton gets it in. So it's now 27-48. Derek Fisher going to pass it over to Bryant. John Stockton with 9 points. So there is a foul on Greg Ostertag. And this means Kobe Bryant is going to go to the free-throw line. He makes that first one count. And will he actually make that second one in? Yes, he will. And it's now 50-27. Karl Malone going to pass it over to John Stockton. And it is John Stockton losing the basketball, passing it to Malone. And it is John Stockton that makes it in the paint. So it's now 50-29. Horace Grant going to pass it over to Tyronn Lue. And now we got Kobe Bryant out on the court for the Lakers. So now Kobe, there is a foul. It's on Jeff Hornacek. And that is a shooting foul. So this means Kobe is going to go to the free throw line. He makes that in there. And it's now 53-29. So Chris Morris with the possession. Kobe makes a steal. He is going to make another dunk. And it's now 55-29. Wonder if the Lakers could score 60 points by halftime. But there's only 24 seconds. There is a foul there on Kobe Bryant. And there are 23.1 seconds to go in the first half. So who knows? But now it is Karl Malone. It looks like Malone, he is going to make that in for 2 points. So it's now going to be Ty Lue going to pass it over to Rick Fox. And then Mark Madsen gets it in there. And it's now 57-31. So looks like they lose the basketball. Madsen's going to make a 3 flat. Actually, he misses it. And this is halftime, so Lakers are up 57-31, so we are leading on the road by 26. All right, it is now 57-31, so we're going to pass it over to Robert Horry, and then some Derek Fisher going to knock down a 3 from behind the arc. It is now 60-31, and Jeff Hornacek has possession of the basketball. So now Hornacek, he is going up to the paint, gets it in there for 2 points. So it's now 60-33. So now Kobe Bryant gonna get that layup in for 2. So it's now 62-33. Kobe Bryant with 40 points and John Stockton with 11, both scoring leaders for both teams today. And speaking of John Stockton, he does have possession of the basketball. So now he loses it and Kobe Bryant picks it up. He's going to pass it over to Tyronn Lue. And Kobe is going to pick up the assist there. So it's now 64-33. Jeff Hornacek losing the basketball, picking it back up for the Utah Jazz. And he still picks it up again. So now they're going to pass it over to Byron Russell. Now Byron Russell's going to go up. He misses that. Oh, and Greg Ostertag is going to pick up an offensive rebound. And now Robert Horry picks up the steal. So we're going to pass it over to Horace Grant. He gets it in there. So now we're leading this by halfway. So half of 66 is 33. So now John Stockton loses the possession of the basketball. So now Jeff Hornacek loses that, and Kobe Bryant picks it up for the Lakers. And Bryant gets this one in from mid-range, so it's now 68-33. And it is John Stockton that loses possession of the basketball. Kobe picks it up, makes another dunk for the Lakers. And we are leading this Los Angeles Lakers team. We are leading by 37 points. So we are conquering this Utah Jazz team. I mean, with the skills of Kobe Bryant. So now Kobe gets this one in. John Stockton does have a shooting foul. So now he added 2 points there. So Bryant gets another one. Now we lead this one by 40 points. So now it appears that Utah still has possession of it, but then they picked it back up. Luckily, they did not go backcourt. So now it is Kobe Bryant going to pass it over to Shaquille O'Neal. So Shaquille O'Neal gets 2 points in. So it's a minute 15 to go in the third. So the Jazz, they're trailing by 42 points. And now Shaquille O'Neal is going to pass it over to Bryant. But now Shannon Anderson picks up the possession of the basketball. So now what does this mean? Greg Foster makes the dunk. So it's now a 40-point lead. So they scored 2 points. And now They're going to pass it over to Bryant. So now Kobe gets this one in for 2 points. So it's now 77 to 35. 45 points, actually 49 points for Kobe Bryant. 3 assists and 9 steals today. So he's going to wind up being player of the game. So now it's 77 to 37. 41.6 seconds to go. Bryant going to pass it over to Brian Shaw, and then Shaq O'Neal unexpectedly made a 3, so he rarely makes 3s off and on. So he made a 3 last episode, but he might not have made a 3 in the very first episode of the Los Angeles Lakers series. So now it appears that Utah lost the basketball, so we're going to pass it over. And then we're going to pass it over to Kobe for a 3. And there's 12 and a half seconds to go. 83 to 37. And the Lakers, they are looking red hot. So they won the NBA championship that season, not to forget. And now we're going to pass it over to Bryant. So now Kobe Bryant gets it in the paint to end the third. 85-39 is your third quarter score. Alright, so now Shaquille O'Neal picks up a rebound for the Lakers. So now Shaq O'Neal gets this one in for 2. So it's now 87 to 39. 97% in field goals for the Lakers, while the Jazz are at 75. So they're at a C. And Harper picks it up, passing it to O'Neal. Shaq makes the dunk. And we are up by 50 points in this episode already. Hard to believe. And we are definitely going to take the W on the road. So now Kobe Bryant makes it from mid-range. So it's now 91-39. And the Jazz are trailing by 52. So now backcourt kicked ball violation, made by Kobe Bryant. At first, I thought it was out on backcourt, but eventually it wasn't. So, Lakers have 16 steals today, so that's really good for our defense. So now there's a foul. Kobe Bryant with a shooting foul, and they make that one in. So it's going to be 41 if he makes another one in. So it's now going to be 91 to 41. So now it is Kobe Bryant with the possession of the basketball, losing it. Utah does pick it up, though. And Ron Harper is going to pass it over to Kobe Bryant. So now Bryant gets this one in. So it's now 93 to 41. And now Kobe has made a steal. He's going to knock down a 3. So it's now 96 to 41. We are 4 points away from scoring the big 1-0-0. And there's 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. And now Hornacek losing the basketball there. We're going to pass it over to Shaquille O'Neal. And he makes that slam happen. So it's now 98 to 41. So now Utah has possession of it. Going to pass it over to Antoine Carr. And there is a foul on Horace Grant. All right, there. I took a small break. So now Shaquille O'Neal gets that layup. So it's now 100 to 41. 21 points for Shaquille O'Neal today. And 6 were from mid-range. So now, evidently, they're going to pass it over to Morris. So now they're going to pass it over to Vong. And it looks like 9 seconds left are on the shot clock. So where are they actually going to take this direction? So Chris Morris gets it in the paint. So it's now 100 to 43. Ron Harper going to pass it over to Shaquille O'Neal. He does do a reverse layup. So it's now 23 points for Shaquille O'Neal, 10 of which are in this quarter. So Shaq has been conquering the basketball court for most of this fourth quarter. And Kobe Bryant, he has like 60-some points, not to mention. and Chris Morris knocks down a three. So now the 2000-2001 Los Angeles Lakers have made 8 more threes than the 97-98 Jazz. Make that 9, actually, because Ron Harper, he was a member of the 97-98 Bulls, makes that 3, and Harper makes the steal. And now Ron Harper makes that dunk happen. It's now 107-46. We're actually going to take a break. All right, Kobe Bryant is your player of the game for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I will explain the numbers after the game, but Utah has evidently taken a timeout, and it's their second to last one. Shannon Anderson gets it in there, so it's now 107-48. So now it is Kobe Bryant. He is your player of the game. I will explain the numbers. Kobe making that 3 fly, and it's now 110-48. 28.3 seconds to go. Shannon Anderson gonna pass it off to a teammate, rather. Gonna pass it over to Shannon Anderson. Makes that dunk happen. It's now 110-50. So the LA Lakers are up by 60 points. So now Kobe Bryant gets this one in for 2. And it's now 112-50. And 14 seconds are left. So they're gonna pick this one up. So now they're going to pass it over to Chris Morris. Makes that 3 fly. And 5.2 seconds to go. Kobe makes a 3. It's going to end the game. 115-53 is the final score. So the LA Lakers win their 3rd game of the Western Conference first round playoffs. 115-53 on the road. So if the Lakers win the next episode, they will win the series. So Kobe Bryant, 69 points for him, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 10 steals, and 8 dunks on the day. 9 for 9 from behind the arc. Shaquille O'Neal, 23 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals on the day, 4 dunks. Ron Harper, 5 points, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 dunk. Tyronn Lue, 4 points in all. Derek Fisher, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal on the day. Chris Morris, 12 points in all. John Stockton, 11 points, 3 assists. Jeff Hornacek, he has 8 points in all. Karl Malone had 8 points in all. Shandon Anderson had 6 points. And Byron Russell only had 2. So this evidently wraps it up here in Utah. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next episode.